I'm just going to start off by saying it. I think a lot of you are Sam Mayer haters. A lot of Sam Mayer haters. Holy shit. I don't know what just happened there. Let's start over again. I got phlegm in my throat and it just did not come out right. A bunch of you are Sam Mayer haters. And if you are, fuck you. We're here. Okay, well, right now I'm wearing, I have an Ohm tattoo on me, all right? I have an Ohm on my stomach of a t-shirt I'm wearing. You can go check it out on the Hot Pass Podcast YouTube channel. I'm trying to create good energy. I don't want to be negative here. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, okay? But, because it's not right. In the state of the world that we are in now, we need positivity wherever we can find it. So I want to bring positivity, but we're going to talk about that. Well, there's going to be a lot of negativity, okay? We're going to talk about the Parker Kligerman shit, okay? And all the crybabies that are all upset, and they're feeling bad like Parker Kligerman got shot in the leg or something, or almost, was like Donald Trump getting shot in the ear, that close to dying or something. I don't know. But like it really doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand he was close to winning his race and, he's retiring at the end of this year from racing. But it should have been called 20 seconds earlier. Were you guys all going to be acting the same way? We're going to get into it. I need to settle down. Freaking Hot Pass Podcast. Go to the YouTube. We're going to make sure this is up for Tuesday morning for you guys. Hot Pass Podcast, wherever you find your podcast, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or wherever. It's available Tuesday and Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern. That's where you find it, okay? Friday morning betting shows, always available. The Xfinity and Truck odds are exclusive to that. And then Tuesday morning recap show. And everything, like this episode today is going to be heated and a bunch of fire, okay? But we're going to have good energy, right? And then go to @FurlongEric_. You can see all the shit that's going on. I'm booking my flight and hotel for Homestead. I'm going to be flying in. Obviously, it's Vegas this coming weekend, but Homestead, I'm going to fly in Saturday early morning and be there Saturday, Sunday, and then fly out late Sunday evening around like probably 10 p.m. So that is going on. So if you guys want to see everything that's going on in my life, whether it is race day or my updated tweets every single day, @FurlongEric_, Instagram, my life shit, go there. And then Action Network, link is in the bio wherever you find me. And you can see all my plays. I think for the Cup Series, we're about a little over 2 units. Shouts out to Christopher Bell for the top 5 and Bubba Wallace for the top 10. Shouts out to the dogs. 5-1 for Bubba was insane. Shouts out to him for driving his ass off, carrying the team here. And then, what else? I think that's it. So let's go into it, guys. Good energy. Okay, good energy. We got water, no alcoholic beverages. It is Thanksgiving weekend for Canada, coming to a close. So we're just going to enjoy this Monday night that I'm watching Monday Night Football as we're recording this as well. Where should we start? Let me just think about it here for a second. Let me think about it. Well, also I'll say we'll start off. The Detroit Tigers are out. It was a great run. A little upsetting, but like we weren't expected to be there in the first place, so that's totally fine by me. But so like it was very disappointing. What a great time for Tarek Skubal to fucking let a grand slam go, but whatever. And then the Falcons are all the way back. I understand we beat the Carolina Panthers, so it's not nothing crazy. And I think we're playing the Seahawks this coming weekend, so it's crazy. You guys are going to see continuous chaos for me when it comes to sports. My Leafs are back. So we'll touch on that in the offseason too. Like, I'm going to obviously keep the betting or like the podcast going throughout the offseason. I'm going to take probably a week or two break while I'm in Ireland. Starting in the championship weekend is when I'm going to be there. So I'll be there for about 10 days. So there'll be obviously a little bit of a break, but it ain't over. We're coming to the final races. We got Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, and then Phoenix, I think it is. So it's coming down to the close here. Okay. Very tight battles all across NASCAR. and some playoff implications. Big races. So let's start in the Xfinity. I want to talk about how all you are hating on Sam Mayer. We have a post on social media, okay, from 2 months back, month and a half ago, where I said Sam Mayer's not dog shit. You can fucking see me at Watkins Glen. I'll fucking fight you if you think so, okay? And who pulls out the W? Suck it, all right? Sam Mayer. Clap it up for Sam, okay? Fuck around, okay? I talked to him at Watkins Glen, and I said, isn't it funny how you can win 2 races early on in the season, and everybody all of a sudden, you have a bad couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden everybody forgets about you and says you're shit. And he even said, yeah, it's ridiculous. And then I mentioned about Sheldon Creed, right? And we're both talking about how that's got to be mentally draining. And you saw what happened to Sheldon Creed in the race. I genuinely think he ended up missing a shift. I understand Joe Gibbs having issues. Joe Gibbs cars are having issues with transmissions and stuff. Obviously, I think he probably missed a shift. Then getting caught in the back, having to try and drive through the field, and look what happens. You get caught with the squirrels. So that's what we were expecting not to happen. We were hoping not to happen, and that's exactly what happens. Let's start from the very beginning of the day. SVG gets the pole, technically cuts the course, but they're all confused about what's cutting the course and what's not cutting the course. So we have no fucking clue. SVG gets both poles, and we're all sitting there watching Chris Wormy talk about it on his podcast, saying somebody better wreck his ass to win. Obviously, we see that Sam Mayer wins and Kyle Larson wins. And this is why I'll continue to say, I'm really honestly, though, I'm starting to hate SVG just because he only shows up at road courses and he doesn't make it fun. But now we can see when we go to road courses, guys, there's no reason to get mad. I was getting mad. There's no reason. He's not what we think he is when it comes to road courses. Yeah, he's good. He can do a single qualifying lap, but to be able to set up the car properly for these multiple different tracks that we've been to for so long, everybody else has a bit of an advantage. The Cup Series race on Sunday, we really didn't hear from him. Obviously, we have a lot of the playoff stuff coming along, but those Kaulig cars in both series are not what we have expected them to be. We thought they were going to be something, and we expected more, and that was not it this year at all. So obviously, I'm shocked that AJ Allmendinger is still even in the playoffs, but when you have multiple road courses, obviously he's going to be going far. So I'm kind of happy SVG is out of the playoffs. But yeah, let's continue on through the day. Everybody kind of qualifies. Well, I talked about, we'll go to the betting odds of everything. I told you about Austin Hill plus 600. He opened at the weirdest price, though. And I don't understand what everybody saw in practice for Austin Hill's speed. Okay, so in practice, I saw maybe he's a back half of the top 10 car. I don't think he's really necessarily he's going to be driving inside the top 5 all day. But what did I tell you guys? When it comes to Austin Hill, you bet on him for top 5, definitely at plus 600. That is absolutely wild. Crazy long odds for an Austin Hill. He ends up catching it. But so shouts out to you if you followed the Hot Pass podcast and the betting show every single Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern. Because it's kind of wild to see that he opened up at 50-1 on Caesars after practice and qualifying, right? Austin Hill, talking about. And he gets bet down to 9-1. I don't know what you all saw. I don't know what the sports book saw, a little some money coming in. Obviously, everybody's going to bet Austin Hill at 50-1 on a road course because he's kind of always there near the end. And he ended up finishing top 5, so good for him, but 50-1 to 9-1, there was no way he was even remotely close for speed. Compared to Sam Mayer, because Sam Mayer opened up at 6-1. Austin Hill wasn't even remotely close to the speed of SVG, AJ Allmendinger, and Sam Mayer. Insane. So, yeah, that was just crazy odds. But he ended up opening back up at 6-1 or 7-1 for a top 5, as well as Chandler Smith was sitting out there, and Chandler Smith gets Parker Kligerman on the last bit of S's there or whatever, catch top 5 as well. So that was huge. Chandler Smith and Austin Hill, as we saw, like I talked about them on Friday, about how like they're not really points racing. I think they had a bit of a cushion. Chandler Smith obviously locked in. Austin Hill had a bit of a cushion, was never really worried all day. I think he ended up getting points in stage 1, if I'm not mistaken. So he was really set to just ride around, be on the right side of strategy, and drive around side the top 10 all day. And I don't think he ever really left, other than maybe coming off pit road. But once again, as we saw, Austin Hill, his team, when it comes to getting him off on pit road in first, once again, unbelievable runs on pit road, man. If there's a late race caution in Xfinity and he makes it to the championship 4, that's a guy you got to watch out for. But anyways, throughout the day, I mean, the cautions kind of lay out in a different way. Sam Mayer, okay. Actually, I forgot about the very beginning of the race. You guys might have been waiting on the Sam Mayer getting black flagged at the very beginning. This is why I kind of got annoyed with SVG. Is like, where in the rules? Like, his spotter said he's waiting for the green flag. Okay, well, it showed that SVG didn't go at all in the restart zone. I understand that, Sam Mayer, I mean, the rules are the rules. Sam Mayer did end up launching with like 2-3 feet left inside the restart zone at the back half of the restart zone. Just coming to the exit of the last bit of S's there, on the exit of the restart zone. And he kind of launches first or whatever. But like SVG they said on the broadcast that he was waiting until that green flag was dropped. But like, well, you should be going in the restart zone, no? Should you not be going in the restart zone? I feel like that's a thing, right? Like, you should be going in the restart zone. And then all of a sudden Sam's like, well, he didn't go. And I'm like, I feel like you got a bit of an argument there, but he did launch inside, like Sam did launch in the restart zone, so I get it. And I was really mad because Sam would have drove around in first, in second all day, and he had to battle back and work his way to a win. So let's get to the point of where Sheldon Creed, Riley Herbst in practice and qualifying, as well as Cole Custer, did not have good cars at all. So, who the hell is that? I'm just watching the Bills here. Man, the Bills are just running through New York right now. Riley Herbst, I knew that our championship bet at the very beginning of the year was dead. I feel like our there's a flag there. Our any sort of bets on Riley Herbst. I think I ended up telling you guys that Riley Herbst would have been like an okay top 5, maybe take him in matchups, but after practice and qualifying, it was just god awful, man. So that obviously died Sheldon Creed, very upsetting, probably as I talked about, it was the most consistent when it came to throughout the entire year, or I guess the back half of the year for Xfinity, that he was just the most consistent. And one little thing that it kind of seemed like exactly the same how his championship run ended as how his whole season started. Issues, right? Issues with transmissions, issues on pit road, and that's just the nature of it all, right? Very unfortunate for Sheldon Creed. Let's get into the biggest drama. Let's just watch. I'm just going to listen, or I'm going to slow it down here. I just want to see if the Bills get a touchdown here. He's down by contact, dude. So right at the line again. Let's just do. I got Josh Allen, first touchdown scorer right now. By the time you guys hear this, you'll hear it, or know who got it. But I have Josh Allen at plus 800 for first touchdown. They did like a little sneak or whatever for Josh Allen to get it, and he gets it. Plus 800. Don't have any flags. Don't do it to us. I think we won profited like $200. Let's go. Josh Allen. Shouts out. Okay, perfect. Anywho, back into it. So let's get into the 100% drama that everybody's bitching and crying and whining about. All right. Parker Kligerman. So, the end of the race there, caution comes out, obviously, not yet for Parker, right? Where Parker's about like a foot away from taking the green flag. It's the one that with like a couple of laps left, and SVG stays out. I'm at Thanksgiving at the time, so I don't know what their strategy was. Maybe stay out, but then he stayed out, hoping that a bunch of other people would stay out, I would assume. And sorry, excuse me, I just ate before I came up here to do this. And everybody behind SVG pits, so he's a sitting duck, right? I don't know who. I guess in that position, when it comes to SVG staying out, is either SVG pits and everybody stays out, and then now he loses all his position and get possibly caught up in something, or you stay out and then everybody pits and then you lose it. That was really unfortunate for SVG. You're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. I'm happy I was on the Sam Mayer side. But anyways, Parker Kligerman gets a good launch off the beginning there. I kind of missed a little bit of the restart there because I was eating dinner, but Thanksgiving dinner, and obviously Sam Mayer's working on him, right? Working on Parker Kligerman, trying to drive him down. Parker Kligerman's having the drive of his life here. And I said it so many times. If you follow me at @furlongeric_ on X and Instagram, I made a post about breaking this down near the end of this race when the caution came out and everybody's crying about it. But I've said previously, months ago, from Coda, when he crashed, Parker Kligerman crashed Sage Karam, okay, on the final lap, and he claimed, I didn't do anything wrong. Then at he wrecks or spins Sheldon Creed late in the race at Chicago. Claims he didn't do anything wrong. And I said on here multiple times that karma was going to come and bite him in the ass. Now, everybody was confused about what I was saying. I was like, well, you got to listen to the podcast, baby. It's just like karma was going to come back. And, on a betting standpoint, obviously I don't like him because he will ruin you for a top 5. Even though he knows he's a slower car, he will just move you and wreck you for a top 5. I just kept saying it, like, it just doesn't feel like he'll ever get a win. It's something's going to come close to it. And what happens? He ends up literally a foot away. Now, let's move it back. Leland Honeyman is engulfed in tires. Okay. There is no reason that it should take 20 seconds. And I'm sure every podcast you listen to, you should be listening to this first, is harping on like, yeah, NASCAR should have called it sooner. They should have people in every single corner. You think in a corner like that where there's a bunch of tires where somebody can get buried underneath, you'd have an official sitting there, radio up, guy in the tires. There ain't no fucking way he's getting out of there. Call the caution. They said that they couldn't see it from the booth. Are you fucking high, dude? Are you fucking high? I don't care if you can't see it. If somebody says a guy cannot get it, literally, like, they were coming out of the bus stop, I think, or something like that. And he was already buried in there. And we waited, and my brother and I were watching it. I'm like showing him, I'm like, there's got to be a caution, right? There's not going to be caution. Now, at first glance, I'm thinking there is no way that they're going to fucking blow this. They're going to have a yellow come out because Parker Kligerman, he works for NBC Sports. He's good to NASCAR. They're going to give him the fucking win here. And then right when the caution came out and I couldn't have the volume on because I was eating dinner, right? But I was sitting there like, they just called the caution right when he took the fucking checkered flag. Didn't even let anybody drive to it. I was like, that's the most rigged win ever. I was like, this just seems fucking odd. I was like, you had 20. See, this is what I mean is like, if you put it on the other hand, if they called the caution right when he crossed the checkered, I'd be like, well, then we'd all be complaining about how it took too long, right? It fucking took way too long. So I'm just sitting there like, okay, guys, like either way, we'd all be pissed off. They should have called the caution way sooner. We would have been happy for Parker, I guess. But like, we've all would have been like, come on, man, that's a fucking caution, right? So no matter what, we all would have been pissed. Look at it on both sides. So I'm happy that the caution came out because I want a genuine race to the end here, not fucking ending under caution. Okay. And if Parker, they all had the same tires. So like if, Brees Hall, baby. I think that's Brees Hall. If Parker Kligerman had talent as much as Sam Mayer, the car that I guess Sam Mayer had a hell of a car, but like on some weeks, Sam Mayer is just as fast as Parker Kligerman. So we're all sitting here going, okay, same shit, different day. Like this is all like I don't know what you want us to say here. It's like Sam Mayer's got more talent. He's better on this track. And if Parker had more talent than he does, like then whatever he has right now, like that car is consistently fast on road courses. But like, you would have won the fucking. This is what I don't understand. Is like if he was good, he would have won the fucking race. I don't care. We saw Sam Mayer make mistakes by missing a shift or whatever, and then that's how Parker was going to end up winning the race if the caution didn't come out till after taking the white flag. So we're sitting there going, okay, well, like my mind is boggled on both sides here, right? But we're acting like we're putting them on NBC, you know, thank you for taking your time and being so vulnerable. Did the guy get shot? I'm fucking confused here on why we're acting like the end of the world came. Okay, I understand all these guys, they really want to win, right? They all want to win races. That's the pinnacle. He's had his opportunities. He raced years ago, had his opportunities, and took so many years off. Then got the ride with the 48 in the Xfinity Series. He even had time in the Truck Series, and he's worked his way. But it's like, you guys, every time Sheldon Creed finishes second and all this shit, you guys aren't giving him the sympathy of talking on the radio and all this shit. You know how many times he's finished second by like that much? You didn't talk about Watkins Glen like fucking last year when NASCAR didn't clean up all the fucking oil on the track. And then Sam Mayer goes and wins the race. Now, I had money on Sam Mayer, and that's my dog. I love Sam. We're boys, but at the same time, like, you guys don't give the same sympathy as you do. You guys don't give the same sympathy to Sheldon Creed, as an example, or when Ryan Sieg lost by a fucking fraction of a hair as you are to Parker Kligerman. Because Parker Kligerman is good to NASCAR, is friends with everybody at NBC, and that's the only reason he's getting all the sympathy and everybody feels fucking bad for him. How about that? Clip that off and put that on social media. That is the only reason you guys all feel fucking bad for him. If we called the caution 20 seconds prior, would we be feeling the same way? I don't know if you guys would be feeling the same way. So it's very interesting. But anyways, Sam Mayer goes and wins the race. I fucking told you guys 20-1 ticket on him to win the championship. He's back in it. He's good at, we didn't really get to see him at Vegas earlier this year because he qualified bad and ends up getting caught in a wreck. But he's good at Vegas. He's good at Homestead. Okay. And he's half decently good at Martinsville as well. I think he's available at 16-1 on certain books for the championship. I would take that now, take a sprinkle. If you already have Chandler Smith at 25-1 that I had early on in the year before the season even started, you got to be feeling good right now. So I would get on the Sam Mayer train. Let's shout out to Justin Allgaier for being a fucking dog as well. We found out who were really dogs this weekend as well. We saw Tyler Reddick, Justin Allgaier, both be dogs this weekend and advance to the next round of the playoffs. So it's becoming a very tight race, man. It's been a very tight race. I don't have the points right up in front of me right now. I'd talk about it. Obviously, Chandler Smith is up there. Allgaier is at the top of the points now, so he just needs good runs, and he should be able to make the next round of the play, go to the championship 4. Don't understand how that's not a flag. You know, I feel like a lot of these odds are pretty fucking nuked, though. Sammy Smith, good on short tracks, good at Martinsville, good at Phoenix, has showed some speed at like Michigan, which was a super speedway package. Yeah, whatever. But has shown speed recently on 1.5 miles. I understand he's last in the points right now to make the championship 4. But good races. We see it in Xfinity. A lot of these guys, I talk about it all the time, not very consistent. So you could find Sammy Smith out there at 35-1. Now, do I agree necessarily that Sammy Smith is going to be able to win the championship? Not necessarily. Do I think that Sammy Smith is going to win the championship? I don't know. It'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see. It is a bit of a long shot. Vegas and Homestead, he needs really good runs. What I was saying was before I saw like a crazy possible catch here or whatever by Garrett Wilson is that a lot of these guys are very inconsistent every single year or whatever, and every single race. So crazy shit can happen. If you want plays and you don't have anything on, in the Xfinity championship bets yet, I would sprinkle on a Sammy Smith. I would sprinkle on a Sam Mayer and just enjoy it, man. Enjoy the ride. It's going to be a good time. And these junior motorsports cars seem to be turning things over in the right direction, man. Justin Allgaier's been good. All right, had a good day, at least, right? Sammy Smith won at Talladega, turns his whole season around, really. Sam Mayer wins this past weekend. So, fuck all the Parker Kligerman crying bitch haters, right? A lot of people crying. I was like, Eric, oh my God, well, you pay for your blue check mark. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, but that also helps me get more viewership towards my social media platforms. If you pay for your fucking blue check mark, people know that you're legit. They'll take who you are, what you're saying seriously. So you have to. I'm paying for it. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. I make bags off fucking betting on NASCAR. You think I give a fuck about like $10-20 a month or whatever to Twitter? I don't give a shit. Elon Musk is running it, baby. I don't give a fuck. So. And what's his nuts that fucking owns Meta? He does jiu-jitsu. He's a cool guy now. Fucking we all love him. All right? I don't give a fuck. Okay? That bitch probably pays for fucking makeup subscriptions or some shit. Like the one girl that was talking shit. Do you think I give a fuck? Parker Kligerman follows her too. So, sorry, bitch, but don't give a fuck. We make bags. Hot Pass Podcast. Shouts out to you guys for listening. So before we get into the cup stuff, make sure to go leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Go to the Hot Pass Podcast. What's going on here? Go to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and like and share the podcast. Leave comments. Everything like that helps out the algorithm. At Furlong Eric _ on all social media platforms. And go check out the Action Network and follow me there. We're over 120 units now on the Cup Series alone. Okay? All time. Which has literally just been a year since I started recording all my bets on the Action Network. So we're well above that in the previous year as well. So go check out that. And then so before the Cup Series, I also want to talk about Kyle Steckley, man. My dog. Finishes third in the Winchester 400. Messes up a huge wreck at the in the race or whatever. And when he was running about mid-pack, huge race, guys. Sammy Smith, Carson Hocevar, Eric Jones won it 3 years in a row. Like this is a big race for a lot of guys to make a name. Ty Majeski finished second. So like big names were driving in this. I think he's got another race the first weekend in November or something like that. Somewhere down in the States as well. But make sure to go follow my boy Kyle Steckley, man. I'll give him all the free press anytime, man. Hopefully going to meet up with him this week and give him a case of Beast Unleashed. And hopefully when Beast Unleashed comes to Canada, we can get a sponsorship on Kyle, man. That would be legendary for them to do that. Because the kid is going to be in the Truck Series and Xfinity Series at some point. I fucking guarantee it, man. So shouts out to Kyle Steckley finishing third. He a dog, baby. Yeah, so Cup Series, SVG wins the pole. I had Tyler Reddick. Shouts out to it. Whatever. Get SVG out of the fucking... Dude, next year in the Cup Series, we're not going to see... I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to turn that page, man. Starting to not like them. At least when we go to road courses. Okay, starting not to like them. I'm like Large from Barstool. Get that Kiwi out of here. Okay. He's always smiling, but at the same time, you only show up at road courses now. My whole thing is turned now. He is heel now. I don't like him. Yeah, he gets the pole. You know, Bubba Wallace qualifies inside the top 10. They end up giving us plus 500 for him for a top 10. Still, I go, okay, take it. Listen to Chris Wormy on the pre-race poll. Now, I don't think Chris is drinking booze now because I think he said till like after his baby's born. So sobering up for us, Chris. Good man. Fuck, Chris might be a different guy. We might see a whole different side. We might see a whole different side of Chris not having that Sunday pull. What do you think he's going to be drinking? What do you think he's going to drink? Like a grape Fanta or something? I know he's got like a local like bodega, like a little convenience store like across the street from him. It's Canadian. So what do we got in there? It's like Canada Dry Ginger Ale. God, that would be a new dad thing, huh? Just being an old man, sucking on some Canada Dry. Up here, like ginger ales, you only drink it when you're like sick, maybe. Or you're like fucking 85. So maybe when Chris has a child, he will turn immediately into an 85-year-old man. I'm trying to think what else. He ain't drinking energy drinks. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy. Maybe, you know, like maybe when you have a baby, you become the guy that has his morning coffee and dumps a little Baileys in there. A little bit of Baileys in there. I don't drink coffee, but supposedly that's a big shit. That's a big thing. So maybe this is Chris. Maybe this is the new Chris. I love Chris. And I'm happy for him and his wife. I think they're due. When did he come on the podcast? 2 weeks ago. So he's got to be like 6 weeks out. I think they're like 6 weeks out now. So shouts out to Chris Wormy. Go follow him. I love that man. He's good. He's a good man. Okay. Anyways, he gave us Bubba Wallace top 5 and top 10. And I said, sure, let's take it, baby. Yeah, Tyler Reddick. I mean, if you want to talk about it, Denny Hamlin was extremely close not to making the fucking next round. Tyler Reddick was the sweatiest one, and I tweeted it out. I think Tyler Reddick's getting, after that drive that he had with a broken toe link, all this shit, makes it to the next round of the playoffs. I think Tyler Reddick is getting Jordans for the rest of his goddamn life now from Michael Jordan. There is no way you can't after that. That was a fucking dog win right there, baby. Well, it wasn't a win, but to move on. And then personally, in my opinion, that was a win. We are all more intrigued about that, and they were touching on it more in the during the race rather than Kyle Larson leading the race, because nobody gives a fuck. All Kyle Larson does is lead laps on Clean Air is King races. I don't necessarily think he had the best car, because we'll never know, because as Chris Wormy said, we're points racing. I totally agree. When I was looking at practice speeds and lap after lap, Chase Elliott had the best car. And Chris Wormy talked about in the pre-race poll that unfortunately, he's points racing, so we won't get to see him win. That's why, and I tweeted out during the race at @FurlongEric_, that points racing is fucking dumb as shit. Let's get rid of it. Because in the playoffs, in a situation like this, it's not good for us bettors, and it's not good for the race quality to be able to sit there, and you can't pass on the Roval. I want quality passing. Now, Cody Zeeb kind of was saying that we were all that was a good race. Like, what are we all complaining or something? And I go, or like, what, are we never happy that was a good race? And I go, no, what? Like, no, it wasn't, dude. No, it wasn't. Like, we are all justified that was not a good fucking race. We're all justified to say such a thing. I really don't think it was a good race, man. You could not fucking pass. We did not have clean, genuine passes unless you had like fresher tires like Tyler Reddick took. And even then, it was really, really hard for him to even drive up. Didn't even get inside the top 10. Could not catch Bubba Wallace or Ryan Blaney. Prime example of how you couldn't pass is Ryan Blaney tried multiple times on Bubba Wallace to pass Bubba for 9th for like 10 or 15 laps and couldn't pass him. So you cannot tell me. I'm sorry, Cody. You seem like a very nice guy, and we all are allowed to have our opinions. And I'm not calling you out, man. It's just because I was the only person I really saw complaining too much. because we saw pretty much a half and half on Jeff Gluck's poll on whether it was a good race or not. But Cody was the only one that interacted with me on, or I interacted with him on what he was saying, because he was the only other person saying that he thought it was a good race. Is that like there was no, and he made the argument that, yeah, there was genuine passing. There was not. I'm sorry, but there was not. Genuine passing is not dumping it into turn 7 and passing a guy. Other than that, everybody was spread out. And I'll continuously use Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney as the prime examples of you could not pass. Okay? You could not pass. And then how I know what, like, maybe Kyle Larson was saving his tires or whatever and didn't, like, but he wasn't driving away from Christopher fucking Bell. But even if Christopher Bell got to him, guarantee he doesn't pass. And I think when it comes to this race this week, and I'm not going to forget it when I was in Vegas in February, Tyler Reddick had the better car at the end of that race. And I was like, with 2 laps to go or 3 laps to go, Tyler Reddick goes, I got to try and pass him here between turn 3 and 4, tries to make that move, and Kyle Larson just cuts in front of him and aero blocks the shit out of him, and Kyle Larson wins the race. So, and I do think that we are obviously going to have better racing at 1.5 miles over the next 2 weeks. That obviously Homestead's great and Vegas is great. So we're going to have some good, genuine passing. But we have aero blocking issues. There's issues with this car. So why they keep bringing back the Roval, we have no idea. Every time we go to a road course, you cannot fucking pass. Okay? Watkins Glen, Sonoma, Coda. You can't pass. And we keep bringing back the Roval. You saw the crowds. Okay? How many times did they pan to the crowd today on Sunday? How many times did they pan to the crowd? They only did close-up shots of like a couple of people. Because when they did do a bit of a backdrop over the front stretch, and definitely near the end of the race there, when Kyle Larson was coming around, he's doing his burnout and shit, there wasn't that many people in the stands. Not as many if you were at the fucking Oval. Not as many when we were going to Kansas. Even fucking Pocono for 3 turns, bitch. I understand it's the summertime. But like Vegas will probably have a better turnout. Homestead, I'm going to be there. I'll be there. I'll insert myself there. You're going to have a better turnout. Like the Oval, I understand it's Coke 600. It's a long weekend or whatever, but that is massive, massive crowd. People around there do not like road course racing. It is the South. There it is oval racing. It's short track racing, 1.5 miles. The people will turn out for an insane oval race at Charlotte for a playoff berth to the round of 8. The Roval, nobody gives a fuck. And you can tell by the crowd, NASCAR needs to stop going and doing that. Denny Hamlin said that, yeah, fucking turn 7 or whatever is just creating chaos. But I go at the same time. Like, it's creating chaos, but like they inserted it because they wanted passing. It's like F1 when they are like, we can't pass. What should we do? They put the fucking DRS mode in there or whatever the fuck it is, so you get an extra bit of horsepower and you can fucking finally pass somebody. Like that's what they did. Like it's blatantly obvious that they just put in turn 7 because they needed a fucking passing zone. That's like at Sonoma. That's the only place you can fucking pass. Let's stop with the road courses. The only time I want to see a road course is if you're going and coming up to Canada because we don't have big enough ovals up here. So take the Roval off, okay? Take the Roval off. Take Chicago off. I guess Chicago you can't really pass either, so that's the one I forgot. But take Chicago off, or at least take the Roval off and bring a race up to Canada. Get Mexico out of here. Go up to Canada. All the Xfinity guys I was talking to, some of my Cup buddies, they all want to go to Montreal. They all want to have a good time. They all want to drink up there. They all want to race up there. They want to see the culture up there in Montreal because it's gorgeous. Stop with road course racing unless you're coming to Canada. And maybe I'm a little biased because I'm Canadian. Shout out to Larson winning, but I have to say, all year, okay? I feel like I'm obviously not the only one talking about it, but Christopher Bell has had consistent speed like all year. Now, the only time he's had really bad finishes, I think, super speedways, obviously, but like pit road issues. If they could figure out these pit road problems, Christopher Bell will win the championship. He will be good. He'll be good at Homestead. He will be good at... Now, they did miss their setup a bit there and then ended up, punching their ticket at Homestead last year. But with the late race stuff and all this shit, Larson, crashing and Blaney there or whatever, all this shit, causing a caution. Blaney gets caught down pit road, blah, 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 blah. But he should be good at Vegas. He's had speed at mile and a half. Maybe not the best finishes because of pit road stuff. Homestead, he should be all right. And Martinsville, he's extremely good at. As long as they just continue with the good speed, Christopher Bell will be there. I want to see a Larson and Christopher Bell like they were on the dirt tracks years ago together. I want to see a battle to the end at Phoenix of Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson. William Byron's also had William Byron's also had really good finishes at Vegas recently, so would not be shocked if he ends up winning the fucking race, or at least like maybe a top 5. So yeah, man, that was a heated one. I didn't even take a sip of water the whole time. No, we're ending on a calm note. Just breathe, Eric. Now, I do want to talk about some betting odds coming up. I did see some of the odds for Vegas this weekend for the Cup Series. I'll give you some early picks like I always do. Bubba Wallace is on Caesars 25-1. Now Caesars doesn't always give the best odds, so let's wait till about probably about this time in the morning when you guys are listening to this at 5 a.m. Eastern or at some point throughout the day on Tuesday. Bet Rivers, DraftKings, all the other books, Bet365 should have at least outrights out. Usually about Tuesday afternoon is probably when, or like Tuesday evening is when Bet365 is usually one of the first people with top 10s and top 5s out. Bubba Wallace had a fast car in the spring. Ends up obviously having issues super early on. He is 25-1. If I see a 30-1 out there for Bubba to be able to win the race, I will be taking that. He will probably qualify well here. I think he ended up even qualifying better than Tyler Reddick in the spring. Obviously having that issue. They couldn't get the tire off. La-di-da-di-da. Bubba Wallace always shows up a mile and a half, man. So it would not be a shocker. Lots of confidence from having the birth of his child. Getting a top 10 on a road course, which is unbelievable. So there's a lot of confidence coming with Bubba. I know Ryan from My Fantasy Race was saying Kyle Busch. And I'll go back to that fucking well, man. We were just at, Kansas? Do I think he was the best car? Probably not. But Kyle Busch has qualified well here. Had really good speed at Vegas early in the spring. Ends up having a pitting outside of his box, I think it was. And I think he opened up at 18-1. If we're going to get a 20-something to 1, probably on FanDuel, because FanDuel's always got great odds recently for outrights. Nothing else, really. So I'm going back to those guys, man. Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch. I want to take a Kyle Busch top 5 as well, but we're not going to go too deep into it. Just want to give you a couple of those picks. Xfinity, I haven't dove too much in to see who's really, really good. I would be looking at Toyotas. But now it's, Eric Almirola. Do you think we're getting Eric Almirola at, what was it, 10 or 12-1 or whatever the fuck it was after his great comeback at Kansas? I doubt it. But maybe they'll disrespect him again. That 20 car is really good at mile and a half. We saw it with John Nemechek last year, and we're seeing it with Eric Almirola this year. So, and it's won, how many times did they say? Like 8 times or some crazy number. So Eric Almirola will be Speedy Gonzalez and not points racing. Give me a 2-1 top 5. But anyways, let's end the podcast. It's probably been a while here. See how long we've been going. 45 minutes. I feel like that's a good podcast. Okay. Shouts out to Josh Allen for getting first tutty as well. All right. So we'll talk to you guys later. Listen to the Hot Pass podcast on YouTube. Go watch it. Go see what I'm wearing. Got the 2311 hat on. Got the Ohm t-shirt, Smith Street tattoo. Okay. Create good energy leading into Vegas in the last couple of weeks of the NASCAR season. And yeah, man, Hot Pass podcast on YouTube. Like, rate, share, subscribe to the podcast, comment, everything like that. Hit the notification bell to be able to be notified when I come out with the YouTube video, or on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your audio podcast. Hit the notification bell on there as well. Leave a 5-star rating. That really does help. Genuinely, I've seen the numbers go up the more and more we get 5-star ratings, so I appreciate that from you guys. As well as go to the go to @FurlongEric_ on X, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you find me there. And you can see the final betting cards on Friday, usually Saturday, whenever the Truck and Xfinity is. You can see the final betting cards for Truck and Xfinity on those feeds, whether it's my Instagram story or my X feed, probably about half an hour to an hour before the Truck or Xfinity races. But then the Friday, or the Hot Pass podcast, is available Tuesday at 5 a.m. for the recap show. And then the Friday morning betting show, I always have guests on every once in a while. And I'm going to probably try and have a big show for the Phoenix Championship race when I'm over in Ireland and stuff. But make sure to go listen to the Friday morning betting show, 5 a.m. Eastern, every single week as well. We're murdering it recently, guys. So let's keep the hot streak going into Vegas, where we made a bag on 80-1 on Roger Carruth back in the spring, live at the track in Las Vegas. Yeah, and then the Action Network link is in the bio. You can see all my plays, whether it's football. I was hot on my Tigers, but that baseball shit's probably done. And then Cup Series mainly on there, baby. You want to see the 120 units that we have accumulated over the last year. You can go to the Action Network wherever you find me. Link is in the bio. Yeah, so have a great week. You guys will hear from me on Friday. And let's go into Las Vegas and cash a bag. All right, there's nothing better than Vegas, making a lot of money in Vegas and screwing over the sports books. All right, shout out to you guys. We'll have a good week, and we'll talk to you guys on Friday. See you. Peace.